Yo, god damn it. What is going on, everybody? Mr. Spade here, and I live in an igloo in Canada. We're back here with some Canadian Monday, and today we have an L96 gameplay for you guys on the map Hazard. And no, Liam, this is not a gold L96 flawless gameplay. That is not going to happen, so get your mind off of it. Thank you very much. You'll see, you guys probably have no idea what I was just saying there, but for the guy who does know what he's saying, no, it's not going to happen. L96 flawless, never going to happen. Not in a million years could it happen. The reason is because I am absolutely awful with a sniper rifle. I can't do crap with it. I can't quick scope, I can't hard scope, I can't regular scope, I can't drag scope, I can't no scope, I can't scopey scope, that sort of thing. I just can't use the sniper rifle in this game. I have no idea the mechanics about it. I don't know what's going on with it. It's so confusing to me. But I did my best in this game. I think I ended up going 30-6, I believe. And no, I don't believe I picked up another gun, but I may have at some point during the middle of the game. I'm not quite sure. So, enough about the sniping. We're talking about my another life story today. A Canadian life story. Another one. Yahoo! None of that stupid history crap from the War of 1812 or whatever the heck I talked about last Monday. None of that crap. So we're doing a personal life story, a Canadian life story. So, in order to understand this life story, I have to do a bit of a background on Canada. Just a little bit. Don't worry, it's not a whole history lesson. It's just a little bit of a background. So basically, what's going on with Canada is most of my family lives up in the northern regions, like a bunch of the islands up in the northern parts of Canada. A lot of my family and friends actually end up living up there, and I came down to Ontario because, well, my family was getting a little bit tired of the negative 40-degree weather up there, so we wanted to come to this area so we could get like negative 10-degree weather, and that's much easier to handle with, of course, because it's a lot warmer. So we ended up coming down to this area, and we left a whole bunch of my friends and family up there. So last summer-ish, we were going up there to visit my family. And did you guys see that ghost bitch? Oh my god, I can't believe I didn't see him. Like, blended into the rock or something like that. So, back to the story. My family and I, we ended up going up to that area, the northern area, last summer to visit them and to visit friends. So, my friends and I, we were hanging out, just chilling in our igloo, watching MTV, teaching us how to Dougie. That's from a song. Will I get copyright for that? Who knows? So we were just chilling in our igloo, and we decided, you know what? Let's go for a polar bear ride. That's like the equivalent to a bike ride that you guys used in the States. So we went for a polar bear ride, and we decided to mix it up a little bit, add a bit more challenge, because the regular trails on the glaciers and stuff, going through those canyons of ice, they were getting a little boring. So we decided, you know what? Let's mix it up a bit. Let's add some more flavor to our style, and we shall trade polar bears. Now, trading polar bears is a lot different than trading bicycles. Every polar bear is unique to the rider who uses it. So every polar bear sort of blends itself to the rider's personality. And then the polar bear reacts based on how they know the rider. So when you switch up polar bears, it adds a lot more of a challenge to it because the polar bear gets freaking confused and he doesn't know what the heck's going on. So I switched with my one friend Corby. And me and Corby, we're pretty cool, but his polar bear is completely different than mine. Something that he forgot to tell me, that he neglected to tell me, was that his polar bear, the brake system on it was not really working very well. It was sort of malfunctioning, and it was the front brake worked better than the back brake because the back brake was messed up. Now my polar bear, I sort of use the back brake most of the time. So him not telling me this, it kind of dampened my senses a little bit and kind of screwed me over in the long run. So we came to this big giant hill. We went up this big giant hill up top of the glacier. That's all good. We stopped at the top, had some refreshments, hot chocolate, all that good stuff. So we were looking down at the hill, and just picture this in your mind. You're looking down at a glacier, a big giant hill just going straight down. At the bottom of that hill, there's this big huge rock, and behind that rock is a lake covered in ice, totally iced over. Behind that icy lake is another glacier. It looks a little bit unstable, and you're not quite sure that if you jumped on it, if it would fall apart or if you'd be stable on it. That was the kind of glacier it was. So my friend dared me. He said, you know what? I dare you to go down this glacier, down this hill, on my polar bear and then come back up to the top. So you know what, I'm just like, hell yeah, I'll do it, man. That's no problem. Pretty damn easy. And it would have been no problem if I was using my own polar bear. So I went down on his polar bear, and I got to about halfway and said, you know what, time to hit the brakes. So I slammed down on the brakes, but what? Nothing worked. Nothing happened. So I slammed down on that brake, and the brake just came right back up at me. And the polar bear started actually going faster. And I'm just like, oh crap. And my friend at the top is going, oh crap, that's not good. So I ended up hitting that rock, and the polar bear slammed into the rock, kicked me off the back. I went flying into the air and landed right on that icy lake. Now by this point I'm thinking, oh my lord, this is not good at all, because me landing on that icy lake, it could fall apart any second with me on that. That's a lot of weight. Like I'm a pretty big guy. 945 pounds. That's how big I am, man. And me landing on that lake, that'd be pretty bad. So I'm on this lake and it's starting to creak a little bit. My friend comes rushing down that hill. He's just like, oh my god, here, grab this rope, because in Canada you have to carry safety equipment with you, because when you're out in the wild you have no idea what's going to attack you, of course. So we had our safety equipment. He had the rope and he said, grab this rope. So he threw the rope, and when I grabbed onto that rope, I started dragging myself. But when I started dragging myself, something terrible happened. I grabbed the rope, I pulled myself, and boom! All of the ice underneath me dropped down into the water, and I fell straight into that icy cold water. Now this is like negative 80-degree water. That is freaking cold. Enough to freeze anyone, except for a Canadian, of course, and maybe a Russian, because they're pretty resistant to cold as well in Siberia and whatnot. So I was in this lake, and that's not the worst part that happened. The worst part was that our polar bears, they ran away, because they're just like, holy crap, what's going on? So they ran away. So we were stranded in the middle of nowhere. I was in a lake trying to get out. My friend was trying to pull me up, and then the worst thing that could have happened. The glacier behind us, it started to rumble a little bit, started to do a little bit of shaking. Earth was starting to move, and slowly but surely, it started to fall down on top of me in the lake, and I was screaming my head off. I'm just like, oh my god, help me. So Lord, help me God. If I make it out of this, I will learn to love my family more than I've ever loved them before. That sort of thing. You know, like the whole eyes flash, your whole life flashes before your eyes, all that good stuff. So, the glacier was falling behind me, but I managed to muster all my strength, get the hell out of that lake. I was like, must get out. I was swimming like crazy, and ended up getting out of that lake fine. The glacier was coming down behind us. My friend and I, we booked it like crazy. We probably ran for at least 1.5 kilometers, and the glacier, we could still feel it behind our heels. We were running like crazy, and we finally made it out of there, but we ended up losing our polar bears in the process. We had a funeral, it sucked, and that's the end of the story, guys. So I guess the moral behind the story is make sure you're watching out when you're on thin ice, because a glacier could fall on top of your head and smack you in the face. So that's my story, guys, and I'm out. Peace. Hope you enjoyed.